Things kind of warm up.
Applied dominance here. This is
Out
going
the
to work
window,
much better for
there it is.
French.
Looking to apply dominance here. This is going to work much better for French.
Yeah, it's kind of what you're saying, like warm up, just gain that confidence, especially kind of when you look at the leaderboard after game one, your team can test you, might not have performed well. That's kind of like boosting from game to game, especially now if you win the fight here. If you somehow don't win the game and go to the grand finals, there's even more confidence in that Utopia fight on one side. Bluish, Arsenic Plasmified, just kind of continuously rotating over towards the east. You kind of see the Spire in that mini-map, so you kind of see the over-ending goal of what they're after here.
So after that team wipe down, looks like they're kind of inching their way towards danger here. Be careful right now.
Yeah, XP, loot. I'm surprised that team's essentially kind of letting them get it for free without even trying to contest it, but I don't necessarily see all three members there together. They are kind of spread out. Now, you can kind of see in the mini-map, they're looking over in that direction. But at this point in time, you got to start to wonder, is it even worth it? How late are we to rotate on over? You're seeing a lot of loot already being grabbed up. They already got the XP for their superhero rank. So it's like decision. Are those mist forms or those surf cubes worth fighting this early in the game?
Yeah, I was gonna say, look at how critical the loot that they just claimed was. 2 misforms, plenty of XP.
What?
Showing you the power of
Come
the spires, even the mini ones there. So I think it's their loss for not fighting for it, but yeah, having one member a little too far out, that's what happens.
Just kind of looking around, you're seeing just a lot of these early bases, kind of where the zone's pulling towards the south. A good portion of them, you see already 2 different surge bases there, kind of plan B. A lot of the times you don't want to necessarily use these launch pads, but if you get pushed, you're stuck in a weird situation, you may not have the mobility that you're looking for, that might be a good way to try to escape. Get out for free and kind of reposition overall, and then up until then, you don't have to use it. You can kind of just sit up on this perch, loot up, get the surge. They see they have one player towards the bottom, just trying to accumulate the materials that they might be missing up into the spot, because you see how many monster that they've used just to get up into this mountain.
Yeah, I was kind of debating myself if it's worth staying here this long with 2 players up here. Luckily, they kind of split and then send one back down. They gotta get their resources together. Getting into that mid game here. Jumping into Jace's team. Oh, they're getting targeted, that ramp out, trying to see if they can break them down. Close.
Okay, now we're
Cigar there. Edgy. Duke Chance find themselves a little elimination here. They kind of finish this team up right now. Skaters on the run. Whoa, big opportunity there for Edgy to go in and make a mistake, but he's got them dashes to go in and save himself either way. Great knock here to kind of kick this one off, and that's going to be 2 already secured.
Yeah, and you kind of see the lone player in the mini-map. Just wondering, just kind of eyeing it down, like, is it worth going over there now? Do I wait? Almost in the center of the zone at Lone Wolf Lair, so it might be a very, very risky situation to put yourself in. And then you got to add on the fact that you don't see another player in the mini-map anywhere. So it could quite possibly be a solo with the entire game on the line. 28 teams still up. Far too early to go down for anybody for that matter.
Another little lurk player here by Osid. Meadow Cam. They get face checked by another trio right now. Don't really get to set up the ambush they were probably looking to right there.
That's actually a lot of storm damage. 1,500 storm damage from game number 1. And we kind of saw why. You know, the early game fights going on over towards their west. They're contested here for the most part at the resistance base, so it's not easy to move out of the spot for free. And then you add in the fact that they want to get Storm Surge, so they're taking advantage of the surrounding teams that may not have a safe drop spot to land at. So overall, working out well for game number 1. Bahati, KSM, delayed. They're just getting pushed. Their high ground stolen away. They even lost KSM along the whole path. He's got dropped down to the low ground, and they're just trying to lurk around, keep their position hidden out. So that's going to be their only way to try to take this fight back.
Yeah, Hadi's kind of found himself upstairs. Delays down in the low ground, just kind of waiting this one out. I think it's just a matter of time, though. They get spotted out from this other trio. Oh, yep, there it is. Delay forced to fight back. Great little shield crack here. Kind of reinitiates the other trio, so they wasted no time to jump back into it. Clearly, they want a piece of this action here. Could've, should've, would've. No opportunities presented, though. Now, do keep in mind, they kind of initiated this off with a couple dashes, so you can see Minka is already kind of out. It's not near his team to go and get the replenish, so has to be careful.
Like he was faking the drop down for a moment. Things turned sideways. All that aggression coming out from Apple and Snake, they just kind of get the tables turned on them. Not only the shield, but HP just get torn off just like that. You kind of see it's forcing them to reposition all around in that entire mess. And that's where it could get a little dangerous depending on where everybody's at, who owns what pieces. But it does look like Lulu, Minka, and their trio just kind of converging in the same box. They don't want to take too many risks. And this puts Hattie in a weird spot because he has to sit and listen to all of this play out. And hopefully there's enough time left to get the reboot cards when the dust settles.
They know he's here. They know for sure. They kind of had tabs on that first elimination. They saw the second go through, so I'm not trusting it, but the QTE trio still here. Hattie just has to wait this one out. Still plenty of time to go out and play for those cards as well. A little update. What's going on with Peterbot? He's taking a little 1v3. You know, nothing so biggie. Kind of doing his thing.
So yeah, exactly that. Just normal Peterbot action. Nothing too exciting. Just putting himself into a 1v3, fighting the team. He knows Cold and Ritual know how to close the gap. They do have the misform. Peterbot using the dashes and the medallion as his primary mode of rotation, getting tagged up just a little bit. And you can see him dropping and picking up the medallion, instantly starting that shield regeneration while using the Chug Chug just to kind of get there faster. And you see it just in mere seconds. It's like he wasn't even hurt at all.
I was gonna say that could catch a team off guard too, right? Like a real fake out. They key thinking they have a big advantage. He's gonna be back to 100 before you even realize it. Cirque, Cynics, Polars, the team on the run right now. Oh wow, too far out. Peterbot kind of initiates this one here. The effects of the shotgun kind of taking form here. There it is. Frosty effect, but ooh, wait a second now. Peterbot forced to do the reset like we just talked about here. And look at that HP fly up. Pole jumps in, kind of closes it out. Medmiss comes down. This is a full reset for the team now.
It's ridiculous, dude. The dashes plus that medallion from the island. Peterbot is just zooming around the map, starting some of these fights. Luckily, though, I will say, Cold and Virtual were there to alleviate the pressure. That was a very, very dangerous position for Peterbot to be put in, especially since he not only has the medallions, he has both of them and both of the mythics. They're basically putting all their eggs in the Peterbot basket. Rightfully so. How many times, Monster, has it worked out in their favor? But it's that risk-reward scenario that we're talking about as they inch themselves closer and closer to box fights. A lot of noise being made down below, and that's just a huge signal for Peterbot to try to take advantage of, knowing that Trio's down there. He's just trying to peek and choose, trying to find the right angle to start this aggression.
Now, I just love how Cold is like the closer. You know, he kind of comes in, definitely is going to hold his own, especially with Peterbot by his hip. And Ritual right behind him, just full support here. This is excellent work right now. Medmiss can be the dead giveaway here, cuts him off from both sides.
Just not giving up on this chase, and with the amount of pressure he's putting down, you saw he forced Jace out of the Medmiss. He's not letting him get minis, forced to drop the dash. Even though he has dashes, he cannot pick up that blob again. Every bit of resource he has is just getting wasted, and now Ritual with the sideline taking down Jace. That elimination has been secured. That's 3 overall for them.
I was gonna say, did Jace throw the blob for himself and then had to run before he was even rewarded with dashes? It happened so fast.
Yeah, how quick they are, exactly that. Tyler Curb and Josh, 72 points. I believe that, what, 6 or so eliminations, second place in that last game. starting off on the right foot. Talk about 3 good games. If they can start the day with 3 good games, then kind of all but secure their spot. They can start playing with a different amount of confidence, maybe condition their drop spot. But up until then, it's going to have to be business as usual. They're holding on to their high ground, really not letting that team beneath them breathe. And coincidentally, it's not letting them peek out to continue to try to grab Storm Surge either.
I thought for a second there, this team was surely done the way Curve and Tyler were moving up top. Josh, I'm looking for that side angle. Tyler back to scouting the general area. Another trio moving pretty fast below them. This Toon's team. Looking for a side angle. Kaji's trio kind of behind now. Josh, Curve, and Tyler here.
I like this. This is where like the experience comes into play for like Tyler, Curve, and the entire trio. Even though they have a full team down below that they were just fighting, that they know they have to be worried about, they're still looking off in the distance, knowing that Storm Surge never stops and never sleeps. Doesn't matter if you're stuck in a box with a whole nother team pressuring you, that's going to still accumulate. But Kaji, Kovacs, and Bray, they're just getting more and more brave to try to lurk their way up. And this is where, if they don't have all the information that it's 2 teams here, it could go dirty fast.
Yeah, you have to assume they probably think the battle's over because the high ground team is focusing on shots in the distance, but no, there's that information right there. Ooh, and it breaks out up top. Now they have even more opportunity to get kind of an ambush going here. Of course, the disengage down to the low grounds is going to get boxed up.
Just like how patient Josh is playing. He even dropped down a few layers to kind of get more in their layer.
There's another team to the south. Who is that?
Luckily, they're coming in on the low ground. It's going to take them a while if they go up there to lurk that play. I'm not going to say it's impossible.
They're going to walk into the other
enough
lurkers.
and Smiley. Oh my god.
How crazy would it be? They're like, oh yeah, let's get in the box, and then you find a full trio underneath kind of waiting there. This is probably going to happen, by the way. They are moving. They're inching. Oh my gosh.
Let's not be confused. This is lurking team 1, not the original 2, and not lurking team 2 that's now flanking. Because now it feels like the lurkers are getting lurked on. And while the 2 original people fighting on top of that entire base are the safest of them all.
I'm thinking Cyclops' team's like, yeah, we're just here for the launch pad, you know? Brayify, Kovacs, Kaji, you do whatever you guys want to do. We're just here for the launch pad. Don't worry about us. Oh, now they surely know. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
Now they have a little bit of advantage of that elevation. Yes, they might have to heal up just a little bit. And that's a real giveaway because remember, they don't know where the 2 locations are of the first teams that were already there. We'll join that 4-team battle royal in a few moments, but Peterbot Cold Ritual seem to be fighting against Edgy, Chance, and their trio yet again. Even though they're 1,300 damage above the threshold, 3 eliminations, it's about making sure to push every team off of every position that they want.
The second time now, Chance's team's going to get pushed by Peterbot here. They just have the work cut out for them right now. Oh, those are their builds. That floor might not have been his, though. You saw how quickly he kind of backed off there. He's just waiting. Pulling a heat storm here.
He just got taken down in the distance. And that's basically a giveaway. No more sneaking around. Firing those shots, the audio visuals, how close it actually is. And now they know exactly where you're at. 857. From 1,300 to 857, you're seeing Storm Surge thresholds kind of in play. Edgy, Chance, full trio is going to kind of disengage towards the outside. They go directly towards that bunker. And they have the options here with 2 different superhero crates underneath. They can open up both. They have the med mist smoke, and if they so choose, they can use that rift to try to escape. And it might be worth it because I don't see too much mobility on the full trio.
One fight to the next. All in God's hands. Go ahead and wrapping this one up. 5 eliminations for this team here. And they pulled the zone pretty much. It's gonna be a short rotate, but you got Peterbot's team kind of right above them. Looking on over to the messy builds here.
So I'm not going to say this is exact monster, but of all the teams so far that qualified through consistency, in 5 games, the least amount of eliminations a team had was 16. So if you're not able to get all the points through placement, you got to start to look to maybe pick up a few eliminations. But 16, it's not relatively a high number through 5 games, so you don't have to overstep. You don't have to bite off more than you can chew going for eliminations, but it almost goes to show how much of a necessity they are in this 5-game format.
Yeah, it's almost like one of those things you know you need to accomplish, but you definitely can't force it. You know, you gotta let them come to you. Kyrie right now, they've got an excellent position here on the side of the mountain. The whole team's out. No one else has really got their number on them. Then for Neko and Trio, I mean, this is not looking too hot here at Prime City. They're deep in the storm, but give it a second. Peterbot's gonna go ahead and fall here to the hands of Chance. Like we talked about, these teams have been going back and forth here. It looks like it's a 2v2, so it's Cold and Ritual setting this one off here. Chance loses all shield. Edgy forced to play defense here, but no shots landing just yet. And no, I lied. Duke is actually up, so it's a 2v3.
I will say this is like best case scenario though, because you see the zone pulling all the way towards the south. I don't know exactly every single position of every reboot on the southern western edge, but this could be their best opportunity if that team does disengage. But Cold doesn't feel like he wants to kind of let them disengage for free. They're 820 above the damage threshold. Zone is going to start moving in about roughly 10 or so seconds. So they're definitely on the clock to try to figure out what they're going to do about this situation. And Edgy looking to get a little bit more aggressive, closing the distance. Chance as well, knowing he has backup and a huge numbers advantage.
See what Cole can do here. Forced to play backwards right now. Wants to be at max HP as well. I definitely respect the ability to make those decisions on the fly here. This is as good as it's gonna get for Edgy, Duke, and Chance right now. We're at 4 elims as well. Going to be pretty fired up here, but look at that, putting respect onto Cold and Ritual, saying, you know what, we're gonna utilize the zone to our advantage. We don't want to get stuck in that 5 tick right now.
Yeah, Ritual's just trying to take somebody down with him. Yeah, he's just trying to take somebody down with him. I'm not sure the healing situation on the Cold. Maybe Ritual kind of stuffed everything, all the heals in the Cold like he's a pinata. That's all down to just chug, 30 left, no mobility. I think this might be the end of the road, barring any miracle eliminations here.
Yeah, he would have needed to either escape right there or obviously get the elim, but no builds, can't get up and over the mountain. This is just gonna be wraps right here. Another game down for Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. I'm all good with that. We'll be seeing them continue to give us that entertainment throughout this kind of showing here for Group 3. Now jumping in with Reed, Curly, and Cooper. Same can't be said for this team, right? They didn't have quite the game one. They are missing quite some points here.
Yeah, I think they would have got like 12 points, maybe even 13 in game number 1. They really got to make up for it here. If not, just get the victory royale, make it that much easier for yourself, because not everybody's going through the same trials and tribulations. Some of them are going to be below the damage threshold. 134 for Kezi, Tobbs, and Exotic. Currently getting ticked on the way there. Forced to use the dash, right? That's the only way they're going to be able to close the distance and accumulate that surge at the same time. If they spot out, that might be what they're looking for. A full team towards the right, using their dashes to try to close the distance. But now Swarm Surge has activated, and they run into Edgy on the other side. Tobbs needs to heal, but I'm not sure he's going to get the chance. He's literally barely going to go down, and it's not going to be a knock. It's a full elimination. Kezi goes down. That's going to save him from getting fully eliminated for only a few seconds, but 177 for Exotic. This is going to be a mountain to climb if he's looking to survive.
Yeah, things would have been different had Tobbs not missed that shot. That is that critical moment where you just can't make the mistake like that and with that tag. Granted, he wasn't a full dash and had a slide right there, but here we have it. Exotic now traps one in the box with him. Decides not to take that fight there. It's kind of an accidental pickup there. Ooh, down body getting quickly finished here. And it's enough. Look at him, just kind of waiting nearby. Not his builds at all. Cone comes through, very nicely done. He misforms out, but But Exotic falls to another team just lurking inside the builds. Who's on
Second,
high?
yeah. I was about to say the same thing. I see Reed. I thought he might have been on high ground, but he's getting sprayed from a team that's in the clouds. Only time will tell who that team is and if it might have been too early, because they might have taken it at 8 zone, spending some good materials. But down below, Fred, Aaron, and Caliper, they've literally been scrapping the entire game just to get to this point. They can kind of close it out with a win or even a top 3. They'll put themselves in a much better position than they were after the last game. But it's Cam, it's Osid, it's Soneto, and they're in the driver's seat already with 99 points.
You know what? Makes sense. Saw them start this game off with like 72, 76 points. Just really running things up. Coming out of game 1, now they're keeping that momentum. And you know, it has seemed like the trend this weekend has been if you take height first, especially in the earlier games, you kind of secure the win, you know? And a team that experience, I can see them going riding this one through to the end. But look at the Elans just adding up right now for Edgy, Duke, and Chance. My gosh, they were putting up some numbers here.
Yeah, that's what you do when you have an FNCS duo champion along with Chance, who's kind of earned his own stripes to be on a team just like this as they continue to dominate the low ground. Kind of making up for not being able to get a lot of points there in game number 1, but Veer, Noxy, Ozone trying to do the same thing. 2 eliminations so far. Not necessarily worried about Surge, having more of a focus on getting to the front side of the zone because they know at any moment things could happen. Straight towards the back. They land a good shot onto Fred. Sebi's there on the other side, but Noxy's making sure to hold their focus as they continue to tarp to the front.
Gotta play it smart here. I like this kind of second ground hold right now, this mid-layer positioning. High ground should be focusing that team, so if they don't start to attack them soon, it's gonna start to go really bad for them up at the high ground layers. Meanwhile, Chance, Edgy, and Duke just kind of running through things right now. Reed, Curly, Cooper playing Med-Miss here, just kind of vibing out. They want to be completely capped off. They're playing deep in the storm just now, but I thought for a moment there, but no, they're just trying to stay as healthy as possible.
I think they know every team coming out of the zone might not be as healthy as them, especially not be as looted up as they are. Chance with his 5 eliminations, 11 overall for this entire team, but up above, I think that was Chris that finds a good shot on the 1, forcing them to disperse into different directions, and that might have been it because now Edgy's going down. Curly's the one that caught him off guard. Chance still trying to take fire from all angles, forward to the ultimate low ground. No mobility, no materials, and no chance at survival as they get taken down.
Played it well, though, made the right calls to continue to layer change, but everyone just seemed to be absolutely ready for the action. Noxy, though, on the other side, no zone here. Look at the loot pile that's happening down low. Meanwhile, pressure starting to come through for Reed here. He's going to be forced to kind of misform around the outskirts. Cooper, Curly, Reed need to now find a way to regather here. A little bit of water, going to throw off Cooper's positioning there for a second, but things start to settle down here on the ultimate low ground. It's not a team in sight, by the way.
Probably heard all the noise on those mid layers, and that's exactly why they made that decision to drop down low. Just give it up. We'll worry about it later if a team does drop on them. It's Jay, Chris. They're just moving on that layer that Reek did give up, but they're just stuck down below. They're crouching. Eventually, they might run out and have to go to the storm. They do have a Med-Miss smoke, but it's all about when do you use it. With the zone pushing in their favor, now is the time, especially with the duo trying to push in. That's Veer, that's Noxy, it's Ozone. It's actually a full trio. They were able to get the revive, and they get a knock onto Curly as Noxy gets another one onto Caliper, keeping themselves alive. That's their 6th elimination here in this end game.
Noxy, Veer, and Ozone come ahead after that entire clash right there. Cooper and Reed, the last 2 left alive here, standing on top of their builds, forced to come down. They're going to block him out. Win conditions starting to be set up here for Noxy. He's got the heal off. Meanwhile, High Ground is doing what exactly? Coming back out of nowhere to find a couple Elans. Siphon is going to go on and kick things off here. Noxy, though, losing teammates, but Ozone turn things around, and they end up winning the game from the low ground there.
That was actually huge. Well played for them because throughout it all, Monster, there was a moment Veer actually got knocked and they got the elimination. Instead of just abandoning him, they said no man left behind. They cleared out space. They grabbed the body and said, get back on up, Veer. Because of the eliminations, they had more than enough loot to make sure he was able to get his HP and shields back up for the eventual fight to win the game.
That's a rare situation that we just watched play out right there, where the low ground team actually pulls a victory royale in these group stages. You know, we've seen the high ground teams pretty much run away with things, and it should have otherwise been textbook at that given moment. But congratulations for Noxus Trio down low, really fighting their way through it and fighting it through prominent teams as well. Just look at things from their perspective. They couldn't have timed the fight better against Reach Trio. Veer and Ozone playing just excellent Fortnite right there. But Nox is tracking. He just seems so sharp. You got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, and you can see Cam, you see Osage trying to make that last-ditch effort from backside of the zone. It just wasn't enough, even with the misform. Congratulations one more time to Noxy, Ozone, and Veer for making the Major 3 Grand Finals. Zeke, are you still excited with 3 games left?
You know, Jacob, that's a great question, and I have an answer, and that's my secret. I'm always excited. Congratulations to the trio. I think it's interesting that Monster kind of points out we don't often see that like low ground win. We see it like occasionally, you know, but again, just given the like situation we saw at one point, we see the team on height. They had to kind of come down low ground. Ultimate low is Recoup with Curly, right? They've got nothing there in shambles. And this is the opportunity, right, for Noxy, Ozone, and Veer to take advantage, to say, look, we just got to play this out. We got to wait for them to kind of fight each other and kind of like forget about us for just a single moment in time. And if we looked at like their build, and can you watch like this bottom side of your screen? They had so many like outs, right? They had so many things in their utility that like there could have been so many different ways for them to clutch up this last little win.
What I loved about their play style on the low ground for this game is how they never played the front of zone exactly, and that's where a lot of the chaos, a lot of the action is. Instead, they were kind of like 1 or 2 boxes behind, which allowed everyone to kind of, you know, coalesce onto each other, and then they were able to get those follow-up eliminations. So really smart plays from this trio right here. And I mean, this isn't their first FNCS finals, but they are still relatively new, so I'd love to just see them grow from here.
I mean, it's one of those classic Fortnite wins, right? Where like, yeah, they did everything that they could on the low ground, right? They played it super, super well. But it's kind of one of those instances where it's like, we're kind of watching, right? It's like 10th, 11th zone. We're like, oh man, this team looks so good, right? Osen sitting up on high ground, uncontested. They got Mats left. And then for some reason, there's a 3v3 going on in the final zone of the game up on the high ground. And both teams don't end up being the ones to win it. Of course, Noxy's trio taking full advantage of the fight going on up there by being the healthiest trio alive in the final moments.
Yeah, I mean, their first game, 10th place with 2 eliminations, right? Second game on the day, VR. Hey, we'll see you in grand finals, right? That's how, I mean, they've got to be feeling so unbelievably excited. And we are as well, because the next time we'll be seeing them is next weekend's grand finals, where they look to compete for one of the spots going to the global championships. For us, though, we have 3 games left to go, which means we're going to take a short break. When we return, we prep ourselves for game number 3.